Hello everybody, welcome back. TheBeantownExpress.com is the website, check it out. Alrighty, what do we got today? Today's Monday, you know what that means. Patriots recap. They went to Pittsburgh. I really, honestly, as a Pats fan and as a football fan, I would really like to have seen Ben Roethlisberger play. I'm not saying I expected him to play, obviously not, but I would have loved to have seen it because it would have been a great test. It seemed like it was kind of a test anyways. Pittsburgh was playing from behind the entire second half, really. So it wasn't as close as it seemed, but the first half it was. It was one of those games where it had a chance to be a true test to see where you are as a team. If Ben's playing, that team's completely different, no question. But he wasn't. We got Landry Jones from Oklahoma. He's in his third year now, something like that. Ben the backup, drafted as a backup, still a backup, obviously. But, yeah, the Patriots got the win, 27-16. My biggest takeaway from the game is probably LeGarrette Blount. And my second biggest takeaway from the game would probably be just the sloppy play. The sloppy play was definitely what did it. And when I heard that Big Ben was going to be out for an extended period of time, I was like, oh, great. Pats are going to crush the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not upset that we didn't crush them. Like, I would have liked to just because we should have. That's not a great defense, and it's not a great offense without him, without Big Ben. Obviously, they still have weapons on the offensive side of the ball, no doubt, which is, I think, why they really stayed in the game. But I really would have liked to see them crush them. With that being said, their defense really, theirs is in the Patriots. They really didn't perform that well. I was looking at the statistics, and they had one tackle for a loss in the entire game. It was Alan Branch, defensive tackle / nose guard, whatever you want to call him. And they had no sacks. To me, that's awful. That is disgusting. That is so bad. Now, the Steelers do have a good offensive line, but the fact that there's an inexperienced quarterback in there, something's got to happen. Now, Jabal Sheard seems like every game gets his hand on the quarterback, but can never manage to bring him down. That happened again. But no sacks, one tackle for a loss. It really wasn't the prettiest game defensively. Malcolm Butler had a nice interception on a bad throw. Other than that, Antonio Brown still ended up pretty much torching him for the entire game. 7 catches for 106 yards. So we didn't really torch him. That's not too bad. No touchdowns. That's really those yardage. If you watch a game, you can see a play. You can see the statistics. Like look at when Josh Norman and Odell Beckham Jr. went at it this year. You look at the statistics. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like 9 catches for 100-plus yards, like 155 yards for Odell. Everyone's like, Odell won the battle. But most of those yards were really, really useless. Every yard is meaningful, but they were in a time when it was, 3rd and 20, and he got 14. Or a lot of them were 3rd and something, and he kept him below that. But like yardage, it really didn't amount to anything. They didn't amount to anything in the drive. They were not very important plays. So that's really what I saw from Antonio Brown. He didn't really have any special plays. 7 for 106 is still something. But I don't want to beat up Malcolm Butler too much, but because that is arguably the best wide receiver in football. But my big thing was really was the lack of pressure from the box. I mean, you look at no one tackle for a loss and no sacks is pretty repulsive, if you ask me. And another dud for the Patriots in this game, in my opinion, Logan Ryan. Yep, Logan Ryan, the same guy. 2 weeks, I don't even know how many weeks ago now. Every week blends. 3 or so weeks ago, I finally was like, okay, I admit you're good. I like you. I'm gonna stop looking down on you. And since then, he really hasn't done anything. I don't even remember the guy's name. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Something Hamilton. His name is Hamilton. He had 3 catches for 36 yards, but they were all on 3rd down. All 3 catches. They were all on Logan Ryan. And 2 of them were back-to-back 3rd downs in the same drive, if I remember correctly. Just really, I don't know how you can't guard Hamilton. I'm sorry for not knowing his first name, but he's a nobody. He's the 5th string wide receiver on that team. It's just, obviously you're going to have problems with Le'Veon Bell. They did really well against him in the first half. They really couldn't do anything. They actually, forgot about Le'Veon Bell in pass coverage a couple times, which is ridiculous. That should never happen. But 21 carries for 81 yards. They stuffed him in the first half. The second half was where most of those yards came from. So I bet it ended up being like 10 on 60, and 10 on 70 yards in the second half, which is pretty good. But yeah, I mean, not too bad for the defense. Not that great though. Not that great. Not good really. Mediocre. But and then we go to the offensive side of the ball. So let me just get this straight. A win is a win, okay? And I'm gonna take some positives out of it. And I know I haven't taken too many yet. I didn't have too many on the defensive side of the ball. But one positive I have is Tom Brady still looks sharp. 19 for 26, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. 93 QBR. His rating was 124. This guy's incredible. I mean, I'm not a fan of him or anything, but if I was, I would probably have a white away New England Patriots jersey on my wall next to a Darrelle Revis jersey. No, but seriously, guys, I mean, Tom's just he seems like he's getting better. He's getting more experience. He's developing something. He's always had that pick you apart before the play. He's always had it. But there's one quarterback who's had it more than him. And if there's one person who believes that Tom Brady is better than Peyton Manning at every single thing in the art of playing quarterback, it's me. But one thing that I got to give to Peyton Manning is his ability to pick defenses apart before the play call. Now, Tom Brady's a master at it too, but Peyton Manning's on another level. Tom Brady makes it look easy, and he's always made it look easy, but something about it this year just looks different. I don't know if you're feeling that, but man, he's just stellar. He's stellar. He looks so good. And his numbers would be way better if there weren't a couple drop third down, passes that would have been first downs. It's just, man, do they look good? Does he look good? I don't believe he got sacked at all now that I think about it either. I'm pretty sure he didn't get sacked. They did get some pressure on him. They definitely did get some pressure on him. That's one thing that did scare me. It's like, man, that defensive line without Cameron Hayward, and if you don't know who Cameron Hayward is, he's OH, I'm a big Buckeyes fan. But Ohio State, former defensive tackle / left defensive end. He's a star. Didn't play. Let's see, did they have any sacks? No, they didn't have a single sack, so that's good. But I can imagine, I can't find the statistic, they had a decent amount of QB pressures, or maybe even QB hits. But one thing, the biggest, other than Tom Brady, the biggest plus for this game is not LeGarrette Blount. I know, you're probably thinking I'm saying LeGarrette Blount, but I don't think so. LeGarrette Blount, 24 for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked amazing. He's making cuts. He's making people miss. He looks quick. Guys, he looks amazing. He really does. But the big thing with me, the biggest takeaway for me in this game offensively, or really in the entire game, is the amount of options the Patriots have anywhere on the field. This isn't just the Patriots have so many people they can go to within 10 yards because that's why they lost. I'm sorry, that's kind of broad. That's why they lost the AFC Championship game. That and the offensive line. They had no deep threat. They had nobody to make that defense stay back. They could just stack the box, blitz Brady, and they had a great enough secondary to the point where they can play bump and run. And it worked. It worked very well. But this year, you can't stop us. You cannot stop our wide receiver core. Chris Hogan, I'm not saying he's great at anything, but he's proven he can catch the deep ball. He's not a deep threat, but he's proven he can. He can do a decent amount of things. Edelman, everybody knows what Edelman is. He's a within 10 yards guy, yards after catch. Gronkowski deep, up the seam. Martellus Bennett, he's been doing a lot of short routes, but he can go up the seam too. It's just like, man, they're stretching out the defense. I'm waiting for Malcolm Mitchell to really come into play where he can be that real deep that we're looking for on the outside. That's something that we don't have, but I believe that's something that he could be by the end of the season. Malcolm Mitchell, rookie out of Georgia. But guys, my biggest takeaway is just the fact that even though it was a sloppy game, even though they dropped 2 third downs, my biggest takeaway is the amount of options on this team, and it's different than other years. It's not the same, and it makes it so much harder to cover these guys when you have a LeGarrette Blount running 24 carries for 127 yards. It's I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do at all, but I'm going to put this out there right now. Right now. I got pissed on Sunday. Watching the Patriots game, when it got close, I was like, really? Like, really? You're going to let them get close without Ben Roethlisberger? Like, you're going to let this look like it was a game? People are going to say, well, I wanted to avoid the whole argument where, like, oh, well, if Ben Roethlisberger played, they would have won. I wanted to avoid that by just demolishing them, and it didn't happen. So, obviously, there are going to be some haters out there sipping that haterade saying, oh, if Ben played, they would have won. I wanted to avoid that. Really, really badly. But, man, I got pissed off, and it wasn't by that. That's one thing going into the game. I was like, I'm going to get so pissed if this is a close game. I was prepared. I was like, if this is a close game, I'm going to be upset. I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was like, God damn it. Like, that sucks. It's close. What I was upset about was one stupid muttonhead on Twitter who had the audacity and, dare I say, the balls. And I'm pretty sure it was a reporter, too. No one with a, official Twitter thing next to it, little check mark or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he was a reporter. He said something along the lines, and I almost saved it so I could quote it to you guys. Ugh, I'm vomiting. I don't know if Dion Lewis is going to have a job to come back to. James White is playing out of this world. Okay. Let's just take a minute. Let it breathe, as Sway would say. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Let's take in what this guy just said. Let's take in what this dude just said. Dion Lewis, the X factor in the New England Patriots offense last season, before he got hurt, is not going to have a job to come back to because the guy who would otherwise be cut if it wasn't for Dion Lewis's injury is going to steal his job. The guy and James White, and I'm sorry, this is making it sound like I hate James White. I don't. He's doing a serviceable job as a fill-in. But James White is the guy that cannot block. He cannot make a hole. He cannot, oh my goodness, I don't think I've seen a worse running back at running the football. Oh my God, it's awful. It's awful. But man, does he look good when there's nice blocking and there's open lanes. Oh, he looks good. And that's how he scored his touchdown the other day on Sunday. Dion Lewis makes plays. He breaks tackles. And the biggest thing about Dion Lewis is you can run him up the middle and he'll make people miss. That's special. That is special. If you can run up the middle, up the gut, from the shotgun, whether it be, or from the I formation, if you can make people purely miss up the middle, you're special. James White can't make anybody miss in open field, which is his job. No disrespect. He's great at running when the lanes are given to him. But guys, do not fall for this. Do not fall for this. Do not let James White make you believe that he's anything more than someone who can fill a role nicely. Don't. And if you need a reminder, go watch some highlights from last season for Dion Lewis, and look at the amount of people he just made miss on a 6-yard carry. You'll see the amount of a normal carry. It's 3 yards. Let's just say he'll make it a 15-yard run. He'll make 4 people miss. They won't even touch him. Guys, and another thing to this Dion Lewis, James White bull crud. James White can catch a ball if you put it in a nice warm towel and then put that in a silver platter and toss it to him. Dion Lewis can catch a stone that you throw 95 miles an hour and his hands are negative 32 degrees. One of them is a wide receiver in a running back's body. Oh, they also can run the ball really well. And the other one is just athletic and can't run the ball. And I know I feel so bad because this makes James White sound like such a piece of crap. But I don't mean it to sound like that. But this is just what the comparison is. That's how he looks compared to Dion Lewis. There's a reason Dion Lewis beat him out last year. And there's a reason Dion Lewis, as a fantasy player last year, was a stud. Because he can catch 7 passes a game, and he can run the ball. He's not just oh, God. So I'm sorry for going on a 4-minute rant about that. I apologize, guys. But my Lord, did that piss me off. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about the past game, guys. I would have liked to have played, blown them out, but I wasn't too upset. A win's a win. We just need to get home field, and that's all it's about. And you know that. It's not about how pretty it is. Obviously, you want to be well-tuned and oiled up for, the playoffs and, getting into motion by then. But at this point in the season, it's just about getting that win. And they did it, and that's all they needed. On to Buffalo. That's a big game. That's a big game. So, everybody, you have a great day. This will be up probably on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. TheBeantownExpress.com. My YouTube, obviously, for seeing this in the first place. Have a great day.